Welcome back to another What's for Dinner. Tonight I am going to be making Tator Tot casserole. It's a family favorite. We love it. So you just want to take your casserole dish and give it a good spray. And then I'm using 2 pounds of ground beef, and I hate touching raw meat. So I am using a spoon just to kind of spread out the ground beef. And then I'm just going to push it down. So basically it's like a meatloaf on the bottom. Or I guess you could call it a burger patty for the tater tot casserole. It's just going to cook like one big giant hamburger patty, I guess I could say. So next I'm going to season it. So I use garlic and I just cover the whole entire patty just with a good sprinkling. It's really nice to have these seasonings there. You could just use salt and pepper if you want, but I like this. And next I do the same thing with onion salt. I just go over the entire patty, just sprinkle it really good. My onion salt has seen better days, but it still works. And then you're going to take cream of chicken soup. I just use the soup. I don't use any water or milk. I just use the cooking soup. And I spread it out as a thin layer. It really kind of makes a gravy. So if we're comparing this to like a burger patty or a meatloaf, the soup on top is like a gravy. And then we just line the whole thing with taters or little potato tots. I think these are called pom-poms, tater tots, whatever you call them. You just kind of sprinkle them on and then take your time to line them up nice and neat. I like making this dinner. It's quick and easy. It takes maybe 10 minutes to prepare, and it just goes in the oven like that. Now it's going to go in the oven for about 50 minutes, and then here I am grating some cheese so that the cheese is ready to go. Some recipes layer it underneath the taters, but I sprinkle it on the top before it's just finished. Here I am just getting a vegetarian platter together for my daughter. She's going to have some taters as well, and then she has some vegetable spring rolls and some cauliflower bites. So here I'm sprinkling the cheese on top. Now I do have a few children who do not like cheese, so I leave a section of the casserole for them, and the rest is covered with cheese for us. Here I am preparing a veggie platter. I've shared in other videos before with teenagers. If you make it, they will eat it. If you expect them to make it, they won't eat vegetables. So I find when I put out this option as a side, 95% of this plate of vegetables will be gone by the end of dinner. So it's really easy. I just take the time as it's cooking and prepare a fresh plate of vegetables every time. So I'm eating some broccoli there and then cauliflower. Just chop it up. And then I'm also preparing carrots. It's really whatever vegetables we have on hand. I do like to keep a wide variety just so that I can prepare these plates of vegetables every night for dinner. And then I cut up some of those snacking peppers. I've got yellow and red. It's now time to flip my daughter's hors d'oeuvres. So there's the tater tots, the breaded cauliflower, and spring rolls. Next, I am preparing coleslaw. I'm going to make my own dressing, so I just put in a little bit of pepper, a little bit of pink Himalayan salt, and then it's actually a little bit of sugar as well. I've transferred some sugar into this bag, so I don't have to lug around that big sack. And then I'm going to put a little bit of vinegar in as I pour it onto a spoon first so I don't just dump so much in. Then some lemon juice. Same thing, I pour it into a spoon, and then you're going to add some mayonnaise. And you're just going to mix it all together, just like that. Make sure the sugar and the salt and the pepper, as well as those acidic components, get mixed up. Then you just kind of toss your coleslaw in, give it a toss around in the sauce, and it's ready to go. Not everyone likes coleslaw, so there is the veggie plate as well. So those hors d'oeuvres are ready, as well as the tater tot casserole now, all cooked and ready to go. There's my daughter's plate and the dinner of tater tot casserole with coleslaw and vegetables. Good and yummy. It's enjoyed. It's a family favorite. I really do like it with the cheese. So there you go. The next night, we are going to be having homemade pizza. So I am preparing the dough right now. I'm just taking a couple tablespoons of yeast and putting it in a bowl. Now I'm doubling the recipe because we are a family of 7, and I wanted leftover pizza for the kids' lunch the next day. They were going to school, so I needed to double it. So there, you just put the yeast in, you put the hot water in, and then you mix in some sugar, and you just make sure it all gets dissolved, and then you leave it for 10 minutes. Don't touch it. I use the quick rising yeast too. So as that's rising, I'm just going to prepare the flour mixture, like get all the other ingredients ready to make the dough. So once again, because I am doubling this pizza recipe, I have quite a bit of cups of flour here. I think I'm using 4, and I just want to get it ready. So there is some sea salt as well. So I mix in the flour and the sea salt. The sugar and yeast and water are already sitting there slowly rising. So there, I just kind of whip it up with a fork, make sure it all gets combined and ready to be used when I'm ready to make the dough. Also, it calls for olive oil. Now, I really like the taste that the olive oil gives it, so that's why we use olive oil. And then once again, I'm just preparing this so when I'm ready to make the dough, it's easy and all measured out and ready for me. But I don't want to add the oil to the flour, so I just put that off to the side. Then I move on to getting my toppings ready. I do have 2 different types of sauce tonight, but I am doubling it, so I needed 2. So we just went ahead and used both of them. And then I'm just preparing the toppings. So once again, I'm getting some of those peppers cut up. We also have these salami chips we will use, some fresh garlic, the peppers, and then I had a couple of like pepperette meat sticks, just different kinds. These ones are like tiny ones, and then there's some pepperoni ones that I'm just gonna chop up and make a little like pile so that they can have meat options as well. And so I just slice it up, and then this is some summer sausage. It's a bit tough, so I'm just working through it the best I can. I could have got a different knife, but when you don't own a dishwasher, you use the dishes you've already dirtied. So there I am. I'm just cutting it up into smaller little bite-sized pieces, and the kids can kind of make their own. Now I'm showing you that the yeast is ready. It's kind of doubled in size. It's blooming there, so you can see that it's kind of puffed up, and it's ready to go. And so then you are ready there. You just kind of pour the flour in, and then you make sure you get your oil in. And I always just like to use the spoon and give it a good mix around. Make sure all of that gets combined. It will be sticky. It just is the way it is with pizza dough. So you do want to get in there with your hands and start kneading it. So here I am, I'm just working the dough, kneading it a bit, making sure I am combining all of those ingredients. And then I do notice it's sticking to my hands quite a bit. It's very sticky. And so I do ask my son for a little bit of help. And he comes over and he sprinkles a little extra flour in for me. And you're going to do this too if you're finding it's just really sticky. Just get a little sprinkling of some more flour. And that should work. You also, when you roll it out, you want to heavily flour your surface so that when you are rolling it out, it doesn't stick so bad. And then I just start with a little bit of dough and I start rolling it out. See, I'm kind of using the flour to help me have it not stick to the rolling pin as we go. I also want to say I did some really thin and I did some thicker, and my family enjoyed the thicker crust a lot better than when I rolled it really thin. So you might want to leave it at least an inch thick. And then I don't have a pizza pan, so I'm just using bake pans with some parchment paper. We just spread it out like that. And then you're going to spread out some sauce all around. It's not a perfect circle. Nobody minded. Nobody cared. The homemade pizza, it's really about the taste. So here I have some mozzarella cheese. I sprinkle on that next. And I just make sure I cover the whole thing. I'm not too sure, but I think I made 8 total of these little, I want to say, small pizzas. We did have leftovers for a few kids to take for lunch, so that was nice. And everyone ate quite a bit of pizza that night as well. So I'm just sprinkling some toppings on this pizza. And when you're cooking 8 in one oven, it takes time, so it just kind of sits there and waits to go into the oven. But it cooks for about 10 minutes when it's in, and there are the finished pizzas, at least some of them. It's a pepperoni one. And does anybody else use their kitchen scissors to cut pizza? It's quick and easy. They're easy to wash. And I just cut it up, and everyone was happy. And there you go. Everyone enjoyed it that night. Now I'm going to do some baking. We are actually going to make butter tarts. We love them here, and I had never tried making them before. So here I am using Easy Button pie shells. They are just frozen pastry cups. And so I'm going to be adding a cup of butter. And now it does need to be room temperature. You don't want it too melted, but you want it soft so that you're going to be able to stir it and mix it easily. And then you're going to take a cup of brown sugar, or sorry, that was half a cup of butter, half a cup of brown sugar, and a whole cup of corn syrup, and then some salt. And you're just going to pour that in, and then with your spoon, you just mix it up. Now this took a little bit of elbow grease, so make sure you're mixing it really well, just to get all of that combined. Then when it's mixed, you're going to add your vanilla, as well as 2 eggs to your mixture. And then you're going to go ahead and mix this up really well as well with the wet ingredients. It doesn't take as much effort to mix it this time. And then you're just going to put spoon, ladle, pour, whatever works for you, the mixture into the pie shells. And I just kind of used the same scoop Once again, we wash our own dishes here, so I reuse dishes for many things. So then you're just going to cover all the tarts with the mixture, and then because it's sugar, I went ahead and wiped everything up because I didn't want it to burn. There they are. They look good raw even. So in the oven, they are going to go at 400 for about 15 minutes. And then they come out and they just look all bubbly, and they were so delicious. Everyone enjoyed them. I am making them again for our Thanksgiving. And you see they have settled down a bit, and they just really are caramelized and delicious. So there you have it. That is this episode of What's for Dinner. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to see more. Thank you so much, and I hope you all have a fabulous day.